All right. It says we're live. All right. Hello and welcome, gang. Jay Fazette here with the JVology show. We are at episode number 88, which tells you everything that I have been doing since COVID started.
That's a lucky number in Asian culture. Do you know that, Jay?
Is it?
That means you're wealthy and rich, and you fill your soul with material possessions. But the first two are true. I don't know what the last one.
Well, I tell you what, then the show after this is also going to be show number 88, and the show after that will be 88, and the show after that.
Only if it works. But I tell you what, team. Sorry, just shout out for Jay, because I know we get some people on to you. Jay helped my wife out. She's a mother, a new business owner, a part-time employee with somewhere. But the good news with Jay's help, she actually just made a few sales out of cold traffic, which is amazing. And it's not just amazing, it means that I can retire. So we should cancel this, because I'm just going to rely on her, because we have all our ratios and they're profitable. So we're just going to throw as much money as we can in there and then print money. That's how my dream goes.
Go, Yana, go. I think we all should have a goal to be taken care of by our wives. And
right. Absolutely.
If Lori was here, I would be giving her a hard time, but she's out taking care of me. All right, gang. So the JVology show, let me tell you a little bit about this in terms of how it goes, what it looks like. And by the way, I just like on the sidebar, it's like, I'm just so proud of her. Like, lots of people struggle for a couple of years to make their first cold traffic sale. And she like decided a couple months ago, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And she's just riding my coattails. She's like, that's what I say anyways. I don't know how true this is, but I'm just gonna put it out there, Jay.
I love it. I love what I love. Okay, so for those of you who don't know how this goes, and by the way, I'm looking at all of our. There's a little video that I generally like to watch, but the team has added so many videos in here. I have no idea which one is which. So we're gonna have a little bit of an adventure and see how that goes. But here's the deal.
Just choose a video, Jay. Let's see what it does. It could be reindeer. It could be something.
Well, seriously, there used to be 3, and now there's like 30. It's like, I don't know which one I'm supposed to play. But anyway, here's the deal, gang. Let me tell you how this goes. The JVology show exists as a part of our brand, JVology, the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit. And we're an organization that helps entrepreneurs really restructure their businesses to create a steady stream of perfectly qualified leads at the front end of their business through JV partners, and a recurring passive income stream at the back end through JV partners, all while serving our clients better. And we say our catchphrase, the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit, which means we want to build relationships, we want to enjoy ourselves, and we'd like to make some money along the way. And when you are a part of our community, which happens in lots of different ways, this show is one part of our community. We have things like monthly get-togethers in the Global Lounge. We have a premium program called Joint Venture Mastery. We do live events like JVology Live, which you should all come to in February. We do cool things like going to Cabo San Lucas, which I think that now that your wife is ringing the cash register on there, you should get her to like get you registered for Cabo San Lucas. We do premium joint venture partner retreats in places like Cabo San Lucas.
Well, and yes, we are. Yes, and I think she should be the one that goes. She's the one. She's money bags, right? She's bringing in all the funds now, not me.
That's awesome. Anyway, so that's how this show goes, and we feature community members, 2 other community members, and the world. And today we have my dear friend James Lam with us. James, my friend, other than your wife, you becoming a kept man, how are things?
Great. And I just want to give a plug for you as well, Jay. I know I've already done one plug, but if you are looking to do JVology in February, and Jay's going to give you all sorts of introduction, you should do it, right? And the reason why, and there is a reason for me telling you this other than currying Jay's favor, it is because that's where I made a big change last year. Right. So about almost 1 year ago, I part owned a digital marketing agency, and newsflash, I hated it. I don't know how to say it otherwise. It was like the worst thing of my life. And I was like, how do I get out of here? I'm so successful because someone else runs my business, but how do I get out? And so this really precipitated the start of that journey. And here we are, full circle, almost 1 year, Jay. And it's been a hell of a journey.
That is, well, honest to goodness, the whole COVID thing has made it, time has warped in some crazy way, shape, or form. But thank you. I appreciate that. All right, we're going to play our little video. And then when we come back, James is going to tell us what he's up to, because he has some very cool things coming on. And who knows what the hell is going to play here. We might be back in 13 seconds. We'll be back in 3.5 hours. We'll see what the video plays. And at JVology, we do believe that we are better together, and that is how we come together to collaborate. So, my dear friend, James, you tell the world the 5,000-foot view about who you are, who you serve, what you're up to, and then we're going to put you on the hot seat.
Yes. Okay. My name is James. I'm the founder of Look Ahead Marketing, and Look Ahead Marketing really is created specifically for speakers, authors, coaches, consultants, and it's the synthesis of everything that I've done. So this is going to be my third business now. The first two, one of them is, like I said, I owned a digital marketing agency, so I actually know what to do with digital marketing, which is amazing. And the other one is we still have this company. It's Learn Photography Canada. It is the largest photography teaching company in Canada, 10 locations. Well, no one's teaching anything right now, but 10 locations across Canada. And we're doing an online component. Everything that I've learned, I'm putting into Look Ahead Marketing. So it's all about helping entrepreneurs scale. It's all about getting, I know there's a bunch of people who focus on getting 6-figure to 7-figure, right? Or 7 to 8. I'm looking at just helping people get to 5 to 6, right? Putting in some basic elements, some basic consistency to get to a point where you're cash flowing, where you're profitable, and where you can really grow your business from a place of abundance.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Okay, so I realized I forgot something, so I need to just back up the bus ever so briefly, which is this: we share these shows all over God's green earth on Facebook. But here's the thing: if you want to chat with us, have a little conversation with us, as I just went over into the chat and said hello and posted. Your wife has fans. I'm not sure about you, but your wife has fans. Yana rocks. If you want to come communicate with us, you have to actually click on the video or the little JVolgy thing above the video. It'll take you to the broadcast page, and then we can chat. You can see the links that we're going to share. You can ask questions. You can hassle James, as the rest of us do, and away we go. Okay, so Look Ahead Marketing. By the way, not bad given your last name. It's a good thing. It's a good thing those two things lined up, huh?
Mm-hmm. Shocking. It's just coincidence, right? Just
so
like
strange.
You show 88, and the next time we're talking about 888, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so let's dive in for a brief moment in terms of the 3 supervillains, because I like the topic that we're going to talk about, and each of us as entrepreneurs have an inordinate number of ups and downs and challenges and difficulties, and some of them internal, some of them external, some of them real, some of them imagined. It's a, let's be frank, entrepreneurship can be an epic challenge. It can also be one of the greatest expressions of self in the entire universe. Yeah. But let's just dive into how you came up with this idea that there were 3 supervillains that we had to actually tackle in the first place, because I love the metaphor.
Yeah, because I've encumbered and I've done each of them. For lack of a better term, I have lived through each of them, and each of them provides a challenge. So, one of the first ones I talk about is why you absolutely need to stop using marketing speak. A lot of the times, what we try to and it's not marketing speak's purpose, right, or problem, right? What happens is we try to become somebody else, right? And I'll give you an example. If you're an entrepreneur and you haven't failed before, you're not trying hard enough. So at some point in time, you will fail. And when you fail, you will try to educate yourself. You will try to take courses. You'll try to go out for advice, which is totally okay. The challenge is when you start becoming somebody else, or when you don't integrate those learnings, or when you try to do everything all at once, right? And I'll give the perfect example. People still talk about Warren Buffett still staying in the same house as I think he grew up in, and it's not worth very much, and da-da-da. And so you're kind of like, oh, if Warren Buffett does that and he's successful, I should do the same thing. Jay, you don't live in the same house as you grew up. I don't live in the same house that I grew up in. And Mark Zuckerberg just bought like a $2.6 billion place. So,
oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Right. So the point is that, that's one of the key things is we have to be ourselves. Right. A lot of times we look externally for validation. And Jay, you know me well enough where we can talk about this candidly. I was one of those people, and I was like, Jay, do I do this? And you were like, honestly, and you would call me brother because that's just who you are. You'd be like, honestly, brother, you are too smart for this. You need to do and go and find your own way, which is one of the things now that I want people to do. Because when you find your own way, it's so important, right? And it's so good and it's so liberating.
Well, and I mean, honest to God, truth around that whole process, in my humble opinion, is that it is it's a natural state of the learning process, that spot where we want to emulate and copy someone. But honest to goodness, I think in more cases than not, it slows people down versus speeding them up. because there's that wrestle between who I am, what aligns, what doesn't align, all those things. Now, there is the other side to that, which was my stupidity when I started in the digital marketing space, which is I didn't want to listen to anyone because I wanted to, apply everything we'd learned in the face-to-face business and do that online. And it was like, that was not the sharpest knife. I was not being the sharpest knife in the drawer there. But any hints about how to balance the part of the pendulum, because I think of it as a pendulum, right? It's like I'm copying a bunch of shit that doesn't align. I'm blazing my own trail right into hell. and then this balancing trick of I'm open but remain aligned. I am experimenting. I'm not afraid to fail, but I'm also willing to do shit I've never done before. Like that's a magic trick and a half.
Yeah, and it's all about integration, isn't it, Jay? And you would say the same thing, right? Integration and patience. So kind of looking up and being, and Paige Stevenson would say this, shout out to Paige, but is it in my best interest to really do this? And some of it is, and some of it isn't, right? The other thing is patience. You don't need to do everything at once, right? So, and this leads me to my next point, right? The next point really is about finding marketing that reflects you and in your stage of development. So people are shouting and they're saying, you need to use funnels, email marketing, you need to do lead generation, a lead magnet, an SLO, a tripwire. You need to write a book. You need to do a Facebook presence. You need to do Instagram Live. Now it's Clubhouse. Everybody is consuming their life on Clubhouse, right? But what I'm saying though is, if you try to implement all those things at once by yourself, you are going to fail. And it's not going to be a reflection of who you really are. And you're not going to rock at any of them because you're trying to do a little bit of everything. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So for 100%. Me, for my clients, what we try to do, one of my big things, and I'm trying to put some words around this, but I think it's just one step after the other, right? It's kind of like, let's figure out who you are. And then the next step is, what is the easiest, most cost-effective way of getting you profitable? As in, is it forming leads? Is it playing in community? Is it joint ventures? Is it? Because a lot of people, we bring on these things and look, I'm guilty of this as well. I want to buy this and I want to buy this and I want to buy this so that I am ready, JV ready. Yeah, but you need leads before you're JV ready. Oh, I didn't. Does that make sense what I'm saying, Jay? So let's focus 100%. On the thing you can control in your budget and move it forward.
Love that. Okay. Should we dive into a couple of the other ones? And I know that you have a webinar coming up that is going to dive into this in much greater depth and detail. In fact, let me put that link here, because if this idea of we've got to master and tackle these, hello, Krista, hello, Michelle. We got to tackle these supervillains. I had a brain fart. It's like the Marvel guys. We got to tackle the supervillains. And you have an entire process around that's going to be in your masterclass and your training. Do you want to give us a couple more hints to like reel in the curious?
Sure, I can. So, for example, I just listed a whole bunch of marketing things you could have done, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are trying to approach each one like together, and they're trying to build it parallel, which is never a good idea. Let's be honest. But
can I pause about that?
Yeah.
So it's arguable that I have entrepreneurial ADHD. It would be a short argument because I'd get distracted about something else. So do you have a view of that tackling more than one thing if we have more team? Or are we talking about the solopreneurs that need to drive a lane, pick a channel, like just talk to me a little bit about that, because honest to goodness, my entrepreneurial ADHD goes, wait a second, I've got 392 things going on, which is probably
it's a great question. Normally is for the solopreneur, right? The solopreneur that's trying to tackle everything. So for example, if they just brought on Kartra or Infusionsoft, just two examples, and they are spending sometimes days or weeks figuring this out. And it could be days or weeks in which you are building your lead magnets, if you have it on autopilot, building relationships with people, if your joint ventures are part of your schedule. So a lot of the times people bury themselves in technology because they are scared of getting out there. And there's no other easy way to say it. And it's kind of like an excuse to stay in a safe place. So my challenge is, if people are really serious about moving ahead and building their business, let's do things that add value. So you can use Kartra or Infusionsoft or whatever I said before effectively, and you can get a team eventually to handle all of that. Does that make sense, Jay, what I'm saying?
100%, 100%. And I will, I say it in a slightly different way, is that the highest leverage, and this is particularly true in the community of JVology, the highest leverage time process we can do is building relationships and contributing value for other people. It is not figuring out which damn button on a laptop to press. There are people who have already done that learning curve. There are people who are, they love that shit, as hard as that is for me to believe.
We're not talking about Michelle and Brad at all, are we?
We'll just post Michelle's comment. James is amazing getting people's business off the ground. Yes, he is. But yes, we'll do a little plug. So friends of ours, Michelle and Brad, who we've done JV work together for over 20 years. Michelle and Brad handle a bunch of our technology stuff. We were once, well, actually, I think it was in San Diego, where you actually chose to participate in JVology and the Joint Venture Master Program and all those sorts of things. And the whole thing was done, and we were all sort of having a debriefing and all the rest of it. And poor Brad's over in the corner on his laptop working. And we're like, Brad, like, come over. And Michelle elbows me. He's like, he's in his happy place. He has beer and Infusionsoft. Leave him alone. It's like, his happy place is different than mine. It's all good though. Anyway, so yes, I fervently believe that we've got to break those pieces down. Okay.
Yes. I'm going to add something, and I've never told anybody this before, so this is an interesting one. But about, I've gone through 2 out of the 3 points anyways, but those are I think the first point is be yourself, right? And something that's really interesting, and I'm inviting people out to play here is, you mentioned it. Look Ahead Marketing is acronym for my name. Well, Jay, I haven't told you yet. I haven't told anybody really. I used to be really embarrassed about my name. Right? Because it's kind of this weird animal that's spelled wrong. And being a person of a minority growing up, people would kind of people would make fun of it. That's straight up. Okay. And so part of the learning that I'm experiencing that I would like to help other people is to be themselves. And so one of the things that I put in the slide, and before, it's something that I used to hide away. So I used to slide away and move. But one of the things I tackle straight off in the beginning is, I'm the son of 2 immigrants who came to Canada, and they worked their butt off.
Yep. And
I think that's part of owning who you are. And that's what I want to show other people as well. And
that's something to be incredibly proud of. My ancestors were, I was pioneers in what do they call it? Anyway, from England. And we're really only 3 generations for me, 3 generations off of, living in sod shacks in the middle of nowhere with absolutely nothing. And I just have incredible respect and admiration for anyone at any point in time in history that picks up the family and says, we're going to go create something new. And we don't have a bunch of resources to, but goddamn it, we're going to figure it out. I think that's one of the most courageous things ever.
And for you and I, it would be like doing it in French, which would be just terrible.
I have enough trouble with English, for crying out loud. All right. So talk to me a little bit about, I put the link in for registering for your masterclass. So we get a sense of what the 3 supervillains are. Once that happens, what will people take away from it? What are we heading them towards? What is the, because I know you're great at helping people get off the ground and get that foundation working. What is the at the end of it for folks?
All right, 2 things. One of them is one of my goals is to provide you with clear information. So I'm going to be like, depending on your personality, we're going to go through what your superpower is, right? Depending on your personality, I want you to have some way of stepping forward with your marketing. And it doesn't have to be complex. In fact, the more simple it is, the better. But we're going to talk to you about up-leveling what you do and owning who you are. And the second thing I want people to come out with is the fact that you matter. And who you are matters. Being in your, the term these days is authenticity matters. But basically being yourself, because if you're not yourself, you're not going to attract your own tribe, and you're not going to be standing in your power and being able to build your business. A lot of the times we try to build it by covering up our weaknesses. I think, Jay, you said it. We always focus on the B+ when we have a report card full of A's. And so we try to patch the holes as opposed to just driving to the island that's just 10 feet over there, right? And so what I want people to remember is that they have to be themselves. And let me say this in no uncertain terms. You have to be yourself to succeed. right? And that is what I want people to leave with. That is the biggest thing. And even if you come to the workshop, and obviously there's going to be an opportunity to work with me, and I'd love that. But if it's not right for you, that's okay. But just be yourself and take what I learned. And there's so much value in that workshop.
I love that. And, how do I put it? I don't even have the right exact words for this, James, which is why it's a little bit difficult for me. But if there was an entrepreneurial superpower that could like level up almost everyone instantly, it would be that leaning on, this is who I am, this is how I am, and declaring that clearly enough that people can say, you're my guy or you're not. Both of which are fantastic. And I think that that's difficult for people at the beginning stages to hear, that it's like, it's a great thing for people to say, you're not my guy. But it is far better. Like the people that actually win pretty much in life and business are those that are clear enough that people say, I'm in or I'm out. But this whole in-between thing of, I'd like to, but maybe when Mercury's out of Gatorade and I stub my toe and my toenail grows back, I'm sure, like that whole messy shit in between costs us time, costs us money, costs us love, costs us happiness, costs us everything. So James will help me get that figured out.
Like imagine, there's some people who, there's a bunch of people who do what I do. There's a bunch of people who do what you do, Jay, right?
Oh yeah.
And if you're not going to get everybody, but if you own who you are, you're going to get the people who are attracted to you, and that's okay, right? And once you own that, there's no more competition.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So you're not,
I do.
We focus all on price, we focus on features, we focus on benefits, but at the end of the day, if you're not you, that's the only thing you lead with, and that's not a very good tool to lead with.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I only have one last question. I've been really enjoying this. So, if you're going to help us, I'm curious about what yours is.
I think mine is inspiration and taking something that I've really struggled with and turning it into a course of learning, right? Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things I do, is if I really struggle with something and it takes me a long time, I sense the struggle in other people and I'm inspired to help them, because sometimes the place that people are, it sucks. And Jay, I think you've been there, and anybody who's been there, and you're kind of like, you're full of anxiety, you're full of worry, and it's hard to get that abundance mindset, because when you don't have a ton of money, you can't do it.
I love that. I actually think that your superpower isn't terribly different than mine. I've been at this 30 plus years. Let's just round there. We don't need to know about birthdays and shit.
You started entrepreneurship at 5.
I honest God truth is I did actually. Just on a side note to this, my best friend Fritz and I, living in rural Saskatchewan, where drinking and driving and throwing the bottle out in the ditch was normal. Like looking back at it, it seems completely insane based on today, but it was fine. Mm-hmm. And literally, we both bought our first bicycles and our first motorcycles, picking beer bottles out of the ditch and taking them for cash. Yep. Like starting when we were like 5. So you're not far off the mark. Anyway, the point I was going to say is that through a variety of different things, that there's 3 words that actually summarize what I think my superpower is, which is learn, build, teach. Is that, and I'm totally fine failing at all those sorts of things. That's probably the meta one, is like I'm fine to fail, but I'm driven to learn things. I have to learn or else I'm not happy. Intellectual learning doesn't count. I have to build and improve it myself that I learned it. And at the end of that, it's like I feel compelled to teach. It's like, good God, that was a pain in the ass. Nobody should have to work as hard as I did to learn it. So I don't think you're so different in that domain.
Yeah, it's a neat space to be in, and I think one of the cool things that I love, Jay, is I love teaching to the person, right? So out of the opportunity to work with me, either one, the workshop or the opportunity to work with me, you're going to come out with a personalized plan. If you decide to work with me, we're going to have the marketing done with you. Okay. So it's a huge win. But more important than that is we get to shorten that learning curve, and we make it personal to what you want, right? What do people want? And it's different for everybody.
Love that. Love that. Love that. All right, brother. On that note, a couple of announcements, and then I'm going to give you last word, James. So announcement number one is this, is that we are actually currently in the middle of our JV Jumpstart 5 partners in 5 days Facebook challenge. It's a freebie. So if any of you are interested, like, well, wait a second, Jay and James are doing this. It sounds like other people are doing this. Yes, they are. And if you want to learn how that works, I will just put this briefly, JVology.com /jumpstart. It started yesterday, but it is fast and easy, and you can get it done without too much difficulties, so you can catch up and all those sorts of things. And just to be clear about this, we have something like 710 people registered. So there are joint venture partners that will serve you to get free qualified leads and recurring passive income in there who want to meet you. So I put the link in the little chat there. Which is interesting because my chat just actually seems to show up in YouTube, not on Facebook for some unknown reason. Michelle, if you were there and you would put that in for the Facebook group, that would be totally awesome. I'm going to play one little video and then we're back to you. And here is
I feel like it in a news network or something like that. Like I feel like I should report on the weather here, right? Or the weather here, I guess, is turned around.
I tell you what, I actually think that we have a background where you could do that. Oh my God. All right. On a serious note now, brother, we are back to you. You are the you got the last word. What do you want to say about the upcoming class and course? And let's get them over there.
Yeah. Look, team, I'd love to invite you. I think, first of all, you matter, but more importantly, if you are looking for a turning point in your business and you're not sure where to go, this is a great place to start. Take a chance. Sometimes you just have to take a chance and go for it. It's an hour of your time, and I would unbelievably love to see you there. So thank you, Jay, for having me on here.
My absolute pleasure. All right, my friends, I can tell you this. James does incredible work. He is a leader in our community. He is incredibly well loved, and it is because he gives and delivers value. Get registered for this. Go and do it, and we will see you soon. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, everybody.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.